Welcome back to Vibes AI Restorative Audio. Today we're going to talk about pi. Happy Pi Day, everybody. This is the Pi Cycle Sound Therapy for Perseverance. I'm going to be featuring the golden ratio frequencies. So close your eyes and take a breath. And feel this. You are standing at a threshold. March. The month named for Mars, the god of action. The month when winter begins to loosen its grip, and the month when something ancient in us stirs and says, soon. Not yet, but soon. This is the hardest time. It's not the depth of winter when we surrender to stillness and hibernation, not the burst of spring when energy returns unbidden. But this, the in-between, the almost, the liminal space where light is returning, but the cold remains, where we can see the destination, but our legs are tired from walking. This is where perseverance lives. Today is Pi Day, March 14th, 3.14, a day that celebrates one of the most mysterious numbers in existence, a number that goes on forever, a number that never repeats, a number that describes the relationship between a circle and its diameter, between the curved and the straight, between the infinite and the measurable. Pi is an irrational number. It cannot be expressed as simple fraction. It cannot be fully captured. It refuses to resolve. And yet, circles exist. Planets orbit, wheels turn, life spirals forward. The irrational creates the functional. The infinite becomes the tangible. This is the paradox we honor today, and we honor it with another irrational number, one that carries its own magic, one that appears throughout nature with such consistency that the Greeks called it the divine proportion, the golden ratio, phi, 1.618033, and on it goes. Like pi, it goes on forever. Like pi, it never repeats. Like pi, it bridges the visible and the invisible. But while pi describes circles, the golden ratio describes spirals, which are growth, unfolding, the way a nautilus shell curves outward, the way seeds arrange themselves in a sunflower, the way galaxies wheel through space. The golden ratio is nature's signature of perseverance. It is how life keeps reaching, keeps expanding, keeps becoming. Today, we bathe in frequencies tuned to this proportion, not because they are magic, but because they are mathematics made audible, because when we immerse ourselves in the harmonic structure that underlies growth itself, something in us remembers how to grow. The golden ratio is not arbitrary. It emerges from the simplest possible mathematical relationship. Take any sequence where each number is the sum of the two before. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. The Fibonacci sequence. As this sequence progresses, the ratio between consecutive numbers approaches phi. It gets closer and closer, but it never quite arrives. An eternal reaching. Now consider this. The Western chromatic scale, the foundation of musical harmony, contains 13 notes. The major scale contains 8. The pentatonic scale contains 5. Fibonacci numbers, embedded in the very structure of music. Musicologist Roy Howitt, analyzing the works of Debussy and Bartók, discovered that these composers intuitively placed their musical climaxes at golden ratio points within their compositions, the moment of greatest emotional intensity occurring at the 0.618 of the total duration, not because they calculated it, but because something in them knew. When we create sound healing frequencies based on these proportions, we're working with the harmonic relationships that underlie all growth patterns in nature. The frequencies you hear today are mathematically related to each other by phi. They create what is called coherent harmonic structure, a consistency that your nervous system recognizes even when your conscious mind does not. Research from the Heart Math Institute demonstrates that coherent rhythmic patterns directly improve heart rate variability. The more coherent the input, the more coherent the physiological response. When you expose your biofield to mathematically consistent harmonic structures, your nervous system begins to mirror that consistency. The fifth interval, the most harmonizing of all musical relationships, causes your sphenoid bone to vibrate in harmonic patterns. It stimulates nitric oxide release. It enhances immune function. It lifts depression and improves joint mobility. And the fifth interval has a special relationship with phi. The frequencies relate in proportions that echo the golden ratio. This is not mysticism dressed in scientific language. This is measurable physiology. Your body responds to harmonic consistency the way a tuning fork responds to another tuning fork. Resonance, entrainment, coherence. And coherence is what perseverance requires. I see you. I see the tiredness that has accumulated through these winter months, the heaviness that settles into the body when the light has been scarce and the cold has been relentless, the way your energy depletes just a little bit more each week. This is not weakness, this is biology. Research from the University of Copenhagen has shown that serotonin levels genuinely drop during the winter months. The transporters that regulate this mood-stabilizing chemical become more active, pulling serotonin from the spaces where it does its work. Your brain chemistry literally shifts in response to reduced daylight. Your vitamin D stores, built up during the summer sun exposure, have been progressively depleting. February and March typically represent the lowest levels of the entire year. And vitamin D is not just about bones. It is intimately connected to mood regulation, immune function, and energy. Melatonin, the hormone of darkness, has been flooding your system for months. Extended secretion throughout long nights creates what scientists call phase delay. Your circadian rhythm drifts. Sleep feels less restorative and mornings feel like punishment. And now, the light is returning. But your body needs 2 or 4 weeks to readapt to the changing conditions. So you're in the lag, the recalibration period, the disorienting transition between states. This is why late winter feels harder than deep winter. In December, you surrender. In March, you must persist while depleted. I understand this fatigue and I honor it. And I want you to know, cultures throughout human history have recognized this moment. They've created rituals and practices specifically for this threshold. The Persians have celebrated Nowruz at the spring equinox for over 3,000 years, a festival of renewal and perseverance, of burning away the old and stepping into the new. The ancients understood that this transition requires support, intention, and community. You're not alone in finding this hard. This is hard, and you are still here, still listening, still reaching for tools that might help. That impulse to reach, even when tired, is perseverance itself. Now we come to the practice. On this Pi Day, as we honor irrational numbers, I want to give you a breath pattern that carries the golden ratio in its very structure, the pentagonal breath. A pentagon has 5 sides, and here's the mathematical wonder. Every pentagon contains the golden ratio embedded in its geometry. Draw a line from corner to corner. The ratio of that diagonal to the side of the pentagon is exactly 5, 1.618, the divine proportion inscribed in 5-sided symmetry. Draw a 5-pointed star inside the pentagon, and the pattern continues infinitely. Each new pentagon created by the star contains another star, which contains another pentagon, spiraling inward forever. Self-similar at every scale, like the structure of a fern, like the branching of your bronchi, like the fractals that appear throughout living systems. When you breathe in a 5-count pattern, you are encoding this geometry into your physiology. Research on coherent breathing shows that patterns around 5 to 6 breaths per minute optimize heart rate variability. This is not arbitrary. It appears to be a resonance frequency for the human cardiopulmonary system, a sweet spot where heart and lungs fall into optimal synchronization. Stephen Porges and his polyvagal theory have shown us that vagal tone, the strength of your parasympathetic nervous system, can be improved through specific breathing patterns. Extended exhales activate your body's calming response. Slow rhythmic breathing sends safety signals to your entire system. The pentagonal breath combines all of these elements into one integrated practice. You can do this anywhere, standing in line, sitting at your desk, lying in bed before sleep, walking in the cold March air. No one needs to know you're doing it. It's invisible, but its effects are profound. Let me guide you now. Find a comfortable position. This can work anywhere, but for the first time together, allow yourself to settle, to arrive. Imagine a perfect pentagon surrounding you. 5 points of golden light, equidistant, creating sacred geometry around your body. You are at the center of this shape, held, contained, and protected. The pentagonal breath has 5 phases, each one side of the pentagon, each one a stepping stone around the shape. Phase 1 is the inhale. Phase 2 you hold. Phase 3 is the exhale. Phase 4 you hold. And phase 5 is the transition. In phase 1, on the inhale, you're going to breathe in slowly through your nose for 5 counts. You'll feel your belly expand and your ribs widen, your chest lift last, drawing the breath all the way down to your roots. When you hold it, you pause at the top of your breath, not grasping, not straining, simply resting in fullness, like a wave at the crest right before it curves back to the sea. Phase 3, the exhale, is a release slowly through your mouth. Let the breath pour out like honey, smooth and unhurried, emptying completely. Phase 4, the hold, is a rest in emptiness. This is the void that precedes creation, the pause between heartbeats, the space between thoughts where wisdom lives. And phase 5, that transition, that's the completion of the shape. A moment of pure presence before the cycle begins again. Feel the anticipation of your next breath, the readiness, the willingness to continue. And then you begin again. So let's do 5 complete cycles together, 5 pentagons of breath, 25 counts of presence. Cycle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Await. 2, 3, 4, 5. Cycle 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Await. 2, 3, 4, 5. Cycle 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Await. 2, 3, 4, 5. Cycle 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Await. 2, 3, 4, 5. Cycle 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, await, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm and notice how you feel. Perhaps calmer, perhaps more centered. Perhaps you notice the subtle shift in your nervous system, the easing of tension you did not know you were holding. This practice is yours now. You can return to it whenever you need to remember that perseverance is not about forcing, it's about rhythm, about returning, about completing each cycle and beginning the next. The golden ratio teaches us something profound about perseverance. Growth does not happen in straight lines, it happens in spirals. Look at the nautilus shell. It does not grow by adding length. It grows by adding chambers, each new chamber slightly larger than the last, each one positioned at a precise angle from the previous, and the ratio between them, phi, the divine proportion. This is how you grow too. You're not walking a straight path from winter to spring, from depletion to vitality, from struggle to ease. You're spiraling, coming back around to similar places but from a slightly different angle, revisiting familiar challenges but with accumulated wisdom. Sometimes it feels like you're going in circles, like the same issues return, the same fatigue, the same doubts. But look closer. You're not in the same place. You have expanded. The spiral has widened. What once overwhelmed you now merely challenges you. What once seemed impossible now seems merely difficult. This is perseverance. Not the grim determination to push through in a straight line, but the patient trust in the spiral. The willingness to circle back and try again, knowing that each revolution brings you further from the center. Angela Duckworth, in her research on grit in the University of Pennsylvania, found that perseverance is not about talent or intensity. It's about consistency over time, showing up day after day and completing the small cycles that accumulate into transformation. Your breath practice is a small cycle, 5 phases, 25 seconds, and yet repeated over time, it rewires your nervous system and creates new neural pathways. It builds the vagal tone and transforms your default state. The golden ratio frequencies in this track work the same way. Each listening session is a cycle. The more you return, the more your system learns to generate coherence on its own. You're not creating dependency, you are creating capacity. The golden ratio frequencies in this audio drop are designed for flexibility. You can listen through headphones for maximum entrainment, allowing the harmonic relationships to work directly on your neural oscillations, or you can play it through speakers, letting the sound fill your space, creating an environment of coherent harmony. Use it when you feel the late winter fatigue pressing down. Use it when you need to summon energy for one more effort. Use it in the morning to set frequency for perseverance for the day. Use it in the evening to process the accumulated weight and prepare for restorative sleep. Combine it with the pentagonal breath when you need deeper engagement. Let the external frequencies support your internal practice. And remember, this track honors both pi and phi, the circle and the spiral, the path that returns to where it started and the path that expands with every revolution. Both are needed, the cyclical and the evolutionary, the returning and the becoming. In just a few days, we will reach the vernal equinox, the moment of perfect balance between light and dark. After months of darkness winning, light will finally take the lead. You will arrive there, not because the equinox waits for you, but because you have persevered to meet it. The ancient traditions knew this moment required ceremony. The Persians prepare for Nowruz by cleaning their homes, settling debts, and visiting family, creating completion before beginning. In the Taoist tradition, spring is associated with the liver and the element of wood, with the emotion of anger, but also the capacity for kindness and generosity. The sound for the liver is shh. If you feel irritation rising as spring approaches, as your energy returns unevenly, make this sound. Let it clear the stagnation of winter from your system. You're not just surviving this transition, you are participating in it consciously, intentionally, with tools that work. So let me leave you with this. Irrational numbers never resolve. Pi continues forever and phi spirals infinitely. They cannot be captured in clean fractions or final answers, and yet they describe the most beautiful things in existence: the circle, the spiral, the growth patterns of living things. Perhaps your journey is the same. Perhaps it does not resolve into neat completion. Perhaps there is always another chamber to add, another cycle to complete, another revolution of the spiral. This is not failure. This is the nature of infinite becoming. You're not meant to arrive at some final destination where perseverance is no longer needed. You are meant to become more graceful at persevering, more skillful, more at ease with the eternal unfolding. Like pi and like phi, like the breath that cycles endlessly through your body without ever truly ending. So let's close your eyes one more time and place your hand on your heart and feel the beating. Each beat a cycle, each pause a transition, each contraction followed by an expansion. This has been happening since before you were born, and it will continue until your last breath, without effort, without forcing, just the faithful rhythm of life persisting. You are this rhythm, you are this persistence, you are the spiral that keeps expanding. And you are not alone. Spring is coming. You will be there to greet it, not because you are strong, though you are, but because you persevere, cycle after cycle, breath after breath, day after day. This is your gift. This is your nature. This is who you are. This is Vibes AI. Keep spiraling. Become a Vibes AI Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts. Get ad-free, early access to our 30 and 60-minute sessions designed to boost your cognitive health. Try it out today with our 3-day free trial. Not on Apple Podcasts? No worries. Hit the link in our show notes and get in on the vibes.